What's the word class mean to you, or the concept? What do you think it refers to? What's class?
Well, it has a history, but I mean, I'm pretty simple-minded, frankly. If I can't see something in simple terms, I don't understand it in these areas. It's not like science. If you take a look at society, there are just different roles that people play. There are people who give orders, and there are people who take orders. Actually, and in fact, it gets institutionalized. So, for example, take, say, the corporate system again. It's very strikingly institutionalized. There are the directors and the banks who own them, and so on and so forth. They basically set the framework. There are the managers who sort of work out how to apply things. They have their own initiative, and they give orders. And you go down the line, and then there are people who just take orders. They're not totally passive, like workers can strike and all sorts of other things. But the array of decision-making and control is fairly sharp. Okay, those are classes.
By virtue of the position in the economy and in the roles that people play, they have different interests, opposed interests, etc.
We use different terms for other kinds of hierarchy and domination. So let's take a patriarchal family. So maybe the father gives the orders, and the mother follows the orders, and the kids do what they're told. Okay, we don't call that class.
No.
But that's just a terminological point. It's another illustration of the same kind of structural relation.
There's economic classes, and then there's others. Okay. Is classlessness possible in an economy?
It's kind of like asking whether slavery is necessary. You go back to the 18th.
I agree.
Well, 18th century. If you ask people, so how can you have a society without slaves? Can we eliminate class in other respects? Sure. Why not? Why can't workers run factories? In fact, it's a very live issue right now. These issues are just below the surface right now. So let's be concrete. There's an economic crisis and there's an environmental crisis. And it's agreed across the board that one way the United States has to try to deal with this is to overcome our hopelessly backward infrastructure, backward as compared with Europe and Japan. So we have a terrible transportation system. It was designed that way. It was designed in like massive social engineering projects after the war to be highly inefficient, efficient from the point of view of money making, but based basically on wasteful use of fossil fuels. That's why you have suburbanization, destroy the railroads and so on and so forth. Major state corporate projects. All right, that's now kind of like, can't go on. We got to sort of at least catch up to the rest of the industrial world. So you need high-speed rail. Okay, how do you get high-speed rail? Well, Obama sends his transportation secretary to Spain so that he can use federal stimulus money, meaning taxpayer money, to make contracts in Spain for Spain, it's like not some superpower, to provide us with high-speed rail. At the very same time, Obama is continuing to follow the deindustrialization policies from the 1970s, close down GM plants and so on and so forth. It's kind of like, couldn't imagine a more massive criticism of the socioeconomic system. Destroying a factory doesn't just mean destroying the factory. It means destroying the workforce, the community. The community's usually built up around the factories and so on. Well, there's an answer. The people in those factories could take over the plants, run them themselves, convert them to high-speed rail production. It's a task, but not an insoluble one, like conversion of American industry to wartime production in the 1940s was a far bigger task and was done very successfully. It might need some community federal support, okay, a fraction of what's paid to the banks. So it's perfectly feasible.